of great beauty and rich cultural heritage. South Africa has fought many hard battles to protect its heritage, enduring separation in order to exist as a republic in the apartheid era. Right after it became a republic in 1961, equity battle ensued between the majority black population and the white minority who had governed since the nation's independence.
And in full realization of the high calling I assume as Executive President in the service of the Republic of South Africa.
The year 1994 marked the beginning of constitutional democratic dispensation and an end to the apartheid regime that was characterized by violent demonstrations and riots that left many dead. This transition was termed a miracle by the then Archbishop of Cape Town, Desmond Tutu, who coined a phrase referring to South Africa as the Rainbow Nation. In some South African cultures, the rainbow is associated with hope and bright future. The political transition, which raised the expectation of many black South Africans for a country devoid of racial segregation and all forms of inequality, also positioned the country as a major destination for migrants across Africa.
Today, South Africa is home to more than 50 million people of diverse colors spread across cultures and speaking different languages. As of 2011, 2.2 million foreigners lived in South Africa. The number grew to 3.6 million in 2019. With an increasing number of foreigners in South Africa came a fresh problem: xenophobia.
I think South Africa is a bad country because they're killing us for no reason.
We are tired of being beaten every day. We're all Africa. Why must we be afraid to go to South Africa? Which South Africa has ever been beaten in Zambia? Which one? We want the ambassador to address us. We are tired.
They burned the shop on Sunday. Then in the afternoon again, they went upstairs again and put it on. Put another fire again. To see how heartless somebody is. You burn this place, it's not enough for you. You still go back again. Show me the love. Tell me, how does love and goes in there? There's no brotherly whole love there.
Xenophobia has become a common phenomenon in South Africa, which has led to the loss of thousands of innocent lives and destruction of properties worth millions of dollars. Surprisingly, violent attacks originate from Africans and are targeted at fellow Africans of black origin. This ugly trend has been linked to the mindset among some South Africans who believe that the foreign nationals residing in the country are responsible for the prevalent unemployment and poverty plaguing the black nationals.
These people, they work for 80 rand a day, 90 rand a day. It's fine for them because when you go to his country, it's a lot of money. But for us, it's too small. So we are no longer getting jobs anymore because of the salary we're looking for.
Unlike apartheid, the deep causes of xenophobia remain largely in postulations, with people attributing it to varying factors.
Quite a lot of people don't really understand what is causing this problem, and this is it has to do with understanding the context of the endemic violence nature of South Africa. South Africa is a very violent country, and because the people of South Africa only understand the only language understand in addressing problems is by violence, and if there's an issue in the community, they would rather burn whatever they could find just to get their message across. And when they have issues with migrants in their community, they do not know how to talk to the embassies or the authorities. They would rather burn their business. And if we were to look at it from that angle, you would understand that South Africans, they are violent people.
I do not agree with the term because I do not believe that South Africans are xenophobic. We've had a lot of people coming in from different countries in Africa to come and settle in South Africa for years. What I think the causes for these xenophobic attacks in South Africa is lack of information and ignorance. I'm sure you are aware of the recent unemployment statistics in South Africa, where a lot of young people find themselves without jobs. The amount of money it costs to pay a South African as compared to a foreign national it's wide, and most businesses opt to rather hire foreign nationals over South Africans.
The poor blacks in South Africa see fellow Africans as coming to their country to take jobs, that they think would have been available to them after apartheid. This has brought a lot of anger against fellow Africans who are either involved in petty trading, in taxi driving, and unfortunately, in drug peddling. Some of our people, Tanzanians, Mozambicans, are involved in the drug business. So this has led to people feeling that our people have turned their children, into addicts, and thereby destroying the next generation of black South Africans. So this is what is basically at the root, but it's economic competition for scarce jobs that are available. Unfortunately for black South Africans, who during the period of apartheid were not well trained, were not well educated, these immigrants who come into their country are well educated.
Our political leadership are the very great cause of xenophobia, because in many cases they will go out and say, in our clinics we can't deliver services in clinics because we are overburdened by migrants. We can't deliver RDP houses because we are overburdened by migrants. We can't deliver basic education which is quality because our schools are full of migrants. But when you go to those schools, you only find 10, 13, 15 people, and the rest are South Africans. And when such kind of report comes out to the lay person who is unemployed, sitting at home, not getting a job, that person will definitely say, no, I have to attack, I need to chase, I need to hate this person who's making my life very difficult, because a certain prominent leader has said some sentiment which are totally unacceptable. Because I mean, really, if we are in Africa, you cannot be telling that you cannot deliver basic quality education because there is someone from Zimbabwe who's studying in that primary school. Our President Cyril Ramaphosa, he's strictly said in a public domain that we are coming after you as foreign national. We are going to clamp down to all foreigners. What does that statement say to a lay person on the ground? It simply says that foreigners are not allowed. They need to be clamped down. And how do you clamp down? You then attack, and then xenophobia starts.
Despite the myths surrounding xenophobia, this growing dislike among black South Africans and their foreign counterparts has remained pervasive over the years.
The impact of these criminal activities, they are far-reaching. When these kind of things come up, it affects the economy as well, where both South Africans and Nigerians in this instance lost a lot.
The impact it goes beyond just burning their businesses. Now, these people are left traumatized, they are left displaced. And in fact, we have people who are South African Nigerian who are actually affected by these issues, and people that cannot even identify, they can't even find their identity anymore. And I think beyond now, with the government are trying to look at how to compensate the people financially, but I think it goes beyond that. The impact is massive, and now this is also affecting the international relations between communities like communities and countries like Nigeria, and Nigeria plays a very big vital role in the economy of Africa, and they have a very strong relationship with South Africa, and that is being severed right now, even though our government is denying that. But we do know that there are issues behind closed doors.
I don't think what you are seeing or hearing has affected the relationship between South Africa and Nigeria in any way. Why? We maintain bilateral relations between the two countries, and currently I don't think the relationship has gone too bad. there is a problem of perception. As if a Nigerian enters here, South Africa will see him and kill him. It's not like that. It's not like that at all.
Unfortunately, it's destroying the friendship among nations. Nigerians today, if anything were to happen in South Africa, in the 70s, ordinary Nigerians, civil servants, were contributing money for liberation in Southern Africa. Now, if something were to happen in South Africa today, and South Africa is a fragile country, it's a fragile economy. Nobody prays that the whole place will collapse, because the white in South Africa owns about 95% of the wealth. If, as a result of this contradiction, if there was to be a civil war in South Africa among the races, a racial problem, country like Nigeria would just say, well, we don't want to be involved because after all, we had helped you before and nothing happened about it. So what I'm suggesting is that this kind of crisis is destroying normal relations, amicable relations among nations and among peoples. You saw what happened in Nigeria. Nigerians were going to South African economic interests and trying to destroy them, whereas in fact those economic interests, ShopRite, MTN, and so on, are owned by the white South Africans, not the black ones. So in other words, we are even helping the black South Africans to fight their oppressors. So this kind of problem, unless it is nipped in the bud, will create disharmony among nations.
The latest round of attacks occurred in September 2019. The death of a taxi driver who was reportedly stopping drug dealers sparked renewed riots. Shops belonging to foreigners were targeted, looted and destroyed by some nationals in Jamestown and Johannesburg. For days, the attack made global news, causing millions of foreigners to question their fate in the Rainbow Nation, and leaving African leaders at a loss as how to protect their citizens. Angry mobs besieged South African businesses in African countries. The President Cyril Ramaphosa condemned the destruction in strong terms.
People have lost their lives and many have been injured. Families have been traumatized. Livelihoods have been destroyed. No amount of anger and frustration and grievance can justify such acts of wanton destruction and criminality.
But some believe the government's condemnation was not enough. They blame some South African government anti-immigrant policies for the attacks.
For instance, we've seen the Premier of Gauteng province, which is the powerhouse of South Africa, pushing a bill called Township Bill Economy, and which is going to deprive migrants from doing certain businesses in the community. And that shows at leadership level, they also do not understand the potential of a city like Johannesburg. And if a premier is pushing a bill like that, that will prevent migrants from doing certain businesses, then we have a problem.
A lack of clear-cut policy in addressing xenophobia means love stories built across continent are also threatened. Ewan Magani is a product of such love stories.
Growing up, my dad being Zimbabwean and my mother coming from South Africa, my mom and dad never saw like borders. You know, they loved each other in spite of circumstances, you know, in spite of all the problems, because xenophobic attacks didn't only just start now, they've always been going on for many years. But the fact that obviously with social media and everything, they're actually getting a wider, they're being broadcasted in a much wider like sphere, should I say. So back then, I would say that, you know, there was just a love for each other, that, you know, in spite of wherever you're coming from, it doesn't matter. As long as we're human beings and we love each other, that's all that counts.
Romance stories among foreigners and South Africans are not scarce here. Soso, as popularly called, is married to a Nigerian and can't understand why some Africans just can't unite.
So yeah, I'm Nangamso Vumenjani. I've been married to a Nigerian man for 4 years, and you know what, I am happy. I am so happy. I wouldn't want it any other way. And yeah, he takes real good care of me. He treats me like a queen every day. He makes sure that I have everything that I need. If South Africans say that Nigerians should go, where should they go? Even if it were a Zambian or a Zimbabwean or a Congolese, either way, if you say they should go, where must they go? You'll get a fair share of bad Nigerians, or you'll get a fair share of very good Nigerians. I've been blessed enough to be surrounded by very good people. We love Nigerians. We really do like Nigerians. And the relationship is deeper. It's deeper than football, it's deeper than politics.
Nigeria and South Africa remain two of Africa's largest economies. The relationship between these two giants dates back. Nigeria has been one of the hardest hit countries by these consistent xenophobic attacks. With a huge migrant community in South Africa, Nigeria was seriously impacted by the 2019 attacks, which left several businesses belonging to Nigerians looted, livelihoods taken, and lives threatened. To save the day, the Nigerian government stepped in to repatriate its citizens. Close to 200 Nigerians in the first repatriated group walked down the plane and were received by government functionaries.
Some housekeeping. Now when you, and I have food for you. There's food and water. Oh, we're going to eat. Correct jollof rice. So now, some housekeeping. Now when you finish here, immigration will profile you. You are going to be stamped in. You are going to go to the cargo section and collect your bag. That's where you get your SIM card, your transport money, and then we get all your phone numbers immediately, and we will continue with you. So welcome home.
Barely a week after, a second batch of more than 300 returnees were welcomed at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. By the end of September 2019, close to 500 Nigerians had been repatriated back to Nigeria, all to promises of a better life and security. Nigeria was not alone in its repatriation effort. Zimbabwe also repatriated some of its citizens residing in South Africa in the wake of the violence. Lucky Gente was one of Nigerian returnees. He spent 7 years in South Africa running his business and believed coming back would be a blessing. A year after his return, nothing much has changed.
This is an uncompleted building. As you can see, it's an uncompleted building. I'm staying with my family. This is never a life. As I am now, I'm doing nothing. Right now as I'm talking, my child is buried there in South Africa. There's no means of me going back to his grave again to visit him. I've done the grave, I did a tombstone there that I'm supposed to be paying respect every 19th August to pay respect there. I don't have access to go into South Africa. Coming back, they banned me for 5 years. They gave me 5 years ban not to go into that country.
Like Lucky, Buki ran a vibrant business in South Africa that was burnt to the ground. Only thoughts of starting over at home kept her alive.
I didn't lack of anything. I go to work, I live very okay. I sent to my family. I'm very, very okay. But right now, there's nothing left for me again. I'm hopeless. I'm jobless. There's nothing. I can't even eat 3 meals in a day. Everything has turned bad. There's nothing. And I don't want to turn to street beggar.
Whatever can be done will be done for them. But the state, they are your citizens. We have to deal with this issue at the sub-national level. At the national level, they've returned home, we've received them, properly, and they were happy. Now moving out to the states, they belong to you, so small businesses for them. It's not fair for states who have not reached their citizens not to reach them, and we'll be following up with those states. That's not right, and that is not, it's just not fair on them. As we reach each one of them individually, we also do counseling as to what can be done, what not be done. But I think most importantly is that each state needs to take care of their citizens. And any state that has not done that is not, hasn't done well at all.
Bukky has been back in Nigeria for more than a year, and her search for a new beginning still remains elusive, with a section of Nigerian returnees lamenting their fate after returning and the government being unable to fulfill many of their promises. Onlookers believe exploring repatriation as a solution to ending xenophobia may have failed.
It's really like being between a rock and a hard place, right? So we referenced previously a call that was made for Zimbabweans to come back home. But the reality is, economically, for most people, going back home is not viable because you're faced with, how do I feed my children? If you're a young person, you're looking at, what are my economic opportunities? Where can my career go? And actually, unfortunately for a lot of people, leaving the country is the answer. So actually going back home is not a viable option for most people at all, because even if you do go back home, how are you going to sustain yourself? How are you going to make money at home? It really, unfortunately, comes down to the economics of it, and that drives a lot of people. And so I think the going back home question is a very, very difficult one, which just cannot be answered until we fix the heart of the issue, which is the governance issue, and until the country becomes a place where people feel that they can live, thrive, and sustain themselves.
This reality is true for many Nigerian returnees who still dream of better opportunities outside Nigeria, despite a 5-year ban from South Africa. But will the Rainbow Nation beam its spectrum of hope it represents to foreign nationals dreaming to live there? Will South Africa embody the beauty of Africa and become a pedestal for many to fulfill their dreams? Experts believe that to achieve peace, South Africa needs to do more to embrace and compete healthily and favorably against foreigners, and bask in the joy of being a good host to unite Africa.